was our ride!
Next 24 hours, we're here in the most isolated village in Europe. Holy Probably don't want to look back. It's crazy that a man lives in this village by himself.
On the border of Europe and Asia, hidden in the Great Caucasus Mountains, lie the mysterious isolated towns of Georgia. Places so remote that it feels like they've escaped the passage of time. Every year, these towns get cut off from the rest of the world for months on end by extreme weather conditions. Rockfalls and avalanches that block the treacherous mountain passes that provide the only passage for residents and supplies to get in or out. This is why we've come to Georgia. We're on a mission to find the most isolated town in Europe. When we were researching this video, we found that there are many ways to measure isolation. The best answer we could find on the internet was Ushguli. However, after talking to the locals on the ground, we discovered that there might have been an even better answer. One that turned this video from an overnight stay into a quest that took 2 months to complete. But more on that later. First, let me tell you about Ushguli. Ushguli is a small town located at the head of a gorge in the region of Svaneti, located deep in the Greater Caucasus Mountains. These mountains bound the country of Georgia. They regulate the country's climate, have helped Georgians fend off invasions, and have kept places like Ushguli locked in time. The isolated mountain regions of Georgia hide castles, monasteries, and villages that date back to medieval times and beyond. Ushguli's isolation means that the journey of getting to it is as much part of the adventure as the destination. To get to our first village, which is the internet's claim as the most isolated town in Europe, we had a long but stunning drive ahead of us. Halfway along the way, we made a short pit stop to pick up our local guide, Ilya, who was quick to instill us with confidence about the road trip ahead.
It's like this mountain road and very narrow, and then some rock falls and avalanche.
Perfect. Some rock falls and avalanche on the road that we're going to right now?
Yeah, but like that's why we have a driver, they know where to stop and how to stop.
Okay. Great. Okay, so the next leg to Ushguli begins, right? Ushguli.
To get there, we got a proper adventure truck, as well as a backup truck in case we get stuck. Only trusted local drivers who grew up learning how to read the side of the mountains for risk of landslides are to be trusted with this journey.
This is really dangerous. Like in other parts of Europe, like on a road like this, they always do maintenance. They always know that cars are coming. Here is just grass and then landslides and then a big, like 500 kilogram rock that can just tip over a car.
This is now top 3 sketchiest road I've been on. After Nepal, after Bolivia, and now this one.
Yeah.
Does it often get completely blocked? Does that happen often, or?
In the winter, it's quite often.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And is it safe to go, for us to go? Is it safe? It is a crazy thing to find pictures of a place on Google and then end up right in front of it. Oh my god, this is it, huh? This is also one of the highest villages in all of Europe, right?
Correct.
What's the altitude?
2,100 meters. Here we are.
Where am I taking us?
that's some crispy air.
Yeah.
I do not have the right footwear at all.
Ammar was not prepared for this trip. So where are we staying?
We're staying in the guest house, which is 200 meters down. We have to walk because there is no access with the car.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I regret taking a rolling suitcase. You're gonna walk in sneakers in this. You said 200 meters?
They're gonna get wet then.
Yeah.
Here we go. Wow, this path is a path shared by cows and horses, and it is not dirt that we're walking on. If you're wondering, it is cow shit. Oh, hey guys. These are the only locals we met so far. How's it going? These friendly cows, or?
Okay. All right.
It really feels like going back in time. There's not any noise in this entire town. There's no heating, there's no air conditioning, so there's no noise coming from the buildings. This is the old school way. We have to cross this. Ammar, let me see your shoes again.
Why didn't I just buy shoes earlier?
These are your only shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Thanks, dude.
Slightly sleep deprived after landing in the middle of the night, and after a long journey, we finally made it to our guest house where we'll be staying for the next 2 days.
She's the most famous cook in this region.
Amazing.
After dropping off our luggage, we started exploring this legendary village we read so much about.
This is all the typical Swansea house and old time from 14th century. People and animals living together. In downstairs there was living animals, and upstairs people slept.
Wow, the animals were underneath
Yes.
and people slept above.
Yeah. Because in winter time there was so cold, and from downstairs warm is going up.
So the animals were helping heat
Yes.
the beds.
When did people settle here? Like, what's the oldest record of people living here?
First family before born Jesus.
Before Jesus.
Yes.
So this is like people have been here for over 2,000 years.
Yes.
Wow. In places like this, I'm always inspired by the resilience of human beings and just their sense of adaptability.
Yeah.
And how much in like these modern times that we're in, whatever that means, we just have so much comfort that we forget that our nature is more to be out with the elements, constantly adapting, constantly changing.
I also wonder if we were more compassionate to each other when we lived in small villages like this, because everyone's survival was codependent. I mean, you can't survive in a place like this while being in conflict with everyone you're living with.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Now we're hiking to one of the northernmost spots up here in the village. There's a church and apparently a monk. So we're gonna go up and see if he's there, see if we can meet him.
This church is from the 9th century.
9th century.
Church and monks was always very, very important in Georgia because we had so much war. So in all of the fights, like church was always leading and like helping and supporting to survive.
How long has he been living here?
10 years.
10 years.
And then he's staying alone here in the winter.
Alone, wow.
Yeah, this is very powerful and a very important church. So a lot of like pilgrims are coming here to pray. So he has some guests coming here for some time and living, but he's serving here alone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow, 10 years just in solitude up here.
Quite the commitment to faith and to your practice. We are walking up to meet the oldest man in the village. Hello.
Czerwiani.
Ah, Czarkujani. I'm Thomas.
Ramdenit
Uton zaszydy.
He looks great for 87. This village is very historic, but I'm curious about does the name mean anything?
Ushguli, if you separate, it means brave heart.
That's beautiful. That's incredible. Has he lived in the village his whole life?
სოფელი ახლა აქ იყო 200 მოსახლე, მაგრამ ზაფხულობით ყველა მოდის აქ. ივსება, მაგრამ 200-მდე მაინც არ ივსება.
Has he ever left the village?
No, he never left the village.
He's never left this village. So this is all he's ever known.
What's the biggest difference that you feel between today and, let's say, 50 years ago?
ამჟამად არ ჩანს არც უფროსი, არც უმცროსი. ხალხი ერთად იყო, კარგად იყო, გამარჯვებულად იყო ყველა. ეს უპასუხებლად ცხოვრება.
Does he have something that he'd like the younger generations to keep in mind or remember?
ერთობა, კულტურულად და ჩამოსულს ერთმანეთთან პატივცემლა და თუ შეგენება თუ ჩემი თავმოყურება თუ შემი ძილობა რა მაქვს, შენ რა უნდა წაიღო ჩემგან.
ძალიან დიდი მადლობა.
ბევრია სათქმელი, მაგრამ რა ვიცით აბა. მადლობა თქვენ გიანას რომ გაიხარეთ.
Thank you.
There's so much wisdom in our elders. I am sad to hear that we're losing this small town community living in many places, even this remote, already lost. It's hard to imagine us going back. Maybe there will be an anti-technology movement. There kind of is some people that are moving back to the simplicity, but it is the skill set of knowing how to use your hands and living out in these conditions is, no longer really being passed down into generation from generation as it used to.
Wow.
Bon appetit.
Gamot.
Wow. Amazing. One of the best things I've had. It's like so simple, but the spices, I don't think I've tried meat that tastes like this before.
Few spices and herbs is specific from this mountain.
Specific from this mountain.
This
That's
mountain,
why I don't think I've tried any, like some of the, this flavor before.
Yeah.
What's happening?
She said for digestion, 1 glass is really good. Alcohol.
It's like 10 a.m. I don't think I've ever had alcohol this early in my life. 9 a.m. is always a good time to open a bottle of wine, right? It's a horrible idea. Did we end up with a whole bottle? I thought we were supposed to get a small glass.
We're trying Okinawa wine.
How strong is this?
Pretty strong.
What time is it? It's like 11 a.m., right?
Nice to meet you.
That's the way to do it.
Before our final departure to what is truly Europe's most isolated village, we walked around Ushguli, taking in the slower living that locals have here.
I'm just filming in case you fall.
The most characteristic part about this village, however, are these towers. Built to fend off enemies, these highly effective defense structures allowed Ushguli to maintain its independence for centuries, never to get conquered by another nation.
As we learned yesterday, it was one of the main ways the town stayed independent and protected during times of invasion. These towers are like over 1,000 years old, right? From 8th century, so like 1,200 years old. Wow.
You can actually climb into this?
Yes.
Engineering built to last,
Okay, don't fucking jinx it. Just go. It's like built to last.
If you're just stacked up here with provisions and food, you can hold out this tower for weeks. I can't believe we're inside a 1,000-year-old tower.
This is a wrap for this town.
Ushguli.
Ushguli, and now we actually make the trek to Europe's most remote and inaccessible town that we can only get to by helicopter.
Unfortunately, it was not so simple. As we prepared for the next journey, a week-long snowstorm overtook the region, making flying impossible for the foreseeable future. To put how remote and isolated the next village is in context, the only road to access it is considered one of the top 10 most dangerous roads in the world. It's also only open about 3 months out of the year, so the only access to it is by helicopter. For that, we needed to make sure we had a guaranteed clear 24-hour weather window, which, to our complete surprise, led us to wait week after week, until 2 months later we were finally cleared with clear blue skies safe enough to fly. And so, although I was literally on the other side of the world when we got the news, it was now or never.
This is not how this part is starting. Very good.
À bientôt.
Il est vivant? Oui. Oui. Wow, can't believe I'm back 2 months later.
Hi man, nice to meet you. Hi, Staffan.
All right, 2 months later. It took 2 months to make this happen. And we're finally back in Georgia. This time with a brand new team, a couple of new goofballs. Woohoo! Let's go! Hey guys.
Let's go. Swiss guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. A bit nervous about the helicopter, but besides that.
So Staffan is the only one on the team that has like a pretty serious fear of heights, and it is ending up in the second part of the trip where heights are involved. And Ammar, who has no fear of heights, is not here.
I knew you were going to bring it up as well. Are you afraid of heights?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
No.
Thanks for making me even more look like a nerd.
No problem.
How are you feeling?
Good. Are you holding a bunch of eggs? Hold on. Is this from the hotel buffet? How many eggs have you taken?
No, I bought from Sweden. I have something to confess. I stole eggs from the hotel.
It's okay.
Okay. Yes, we're gonna like fly over the mountains to reach the village, which is somewhere
up there. Somewhere up there.
Here's the airport security. Hello, hello. Hi man, hi. Staffan. Haha, Elia. Hi man, nice to meet you. I'm Staffan.
We're doing it! Finally! Wow. How long is the helicopter flight?
If you can go directly, then 30 minutes.
That's the only way in or out.
So now we're in the middle of paradise.
Thomas.
Elsa.
Staffan and Staffan.
Thomas.
მთელი ზამთარი მარტო ხარ ხალხი რომ მოდის უკვე ხალისი ეძლევა გაზს.
Wow. This is beautiful.
ზამთარში რამდენი კაცი ხდება?
ზამთარში 7-8-ნი, ხან 7-ნი ვიყავით, ხან 8-ნი, ხან 9-ნი.
Wait, so he's only seen 9 people in the last 7 months?
Correct. Yeah.
Every time I take the bus, I say hi to at least 7 people. So that's
The way of life in the mountains, isolated from the rest of the world, is slowly disappearing as younger generations prefer being in cities. Obviously, they want to have access to schools and hospitals and the modern world. Yeah, there is a generation that's still here. But in the winter, there used to be about 50 to 100 people. This winter, there was only 9 in this village, and then a few in the surrounding ones. So very, very few. I think this rural way of living all around the world is slowly becoming less and less common. And one wonders if once this generation, who's now in their 60s, 70s, pass away, these mountain villages are going to have any life left in them. So these small villages that we can see in the surroundings, some of them don't even have anybody living in it. This one in particular has 0.
After our host and local driver carefully planned the route, it was time for yet another treacherous drive to the mountainside to explore this incredible Tusheti region. Tusheti is a collection of small villages in the mountains, right at the border with Dagestan and Chechnya in Russia. Omalo is the village that we are staying in, which we'll explore later. First, we're off to the highest village in all of Europe at 2,400 meters, where the only doctor in the region still lives on his own.
How we doing?
doing great. Oh, I trust him, but I'm pretty scared. Like we're driving this close to like the cliff.
Okay, yeah, now I'm not so happy actually. Probably don't want to look back.
Well, I don't know if you can comprehend this right now, but this beautiful man is backing up a car uphill and we're sitting here. There's no seatbelt. Oh, can we maybe just walk the last part or so?
What do you mean, what's wrong with this road? What's wrong with this? So this man lives alone in this village.
Totally alone. Როგორ გზნობთ თავს ამ გზაზე?
ჩემთვის ეს ჩვეულებრივი გზა არ არის.
It's crazy that a man lives in this village by himself.
Staffan, madloba for having us.
Thank you.
Meet Irakli, a true local legend here, keeping the highest village in Europe, Bochorna, alive.
Yeah. Be one of the most isolated humans on the planet right here. This is where he lives, huh?
Wow, that is beautiful.
Although we are the first strangers he's met in over 7 months, and we brought him this bottle of wine as a gift, instead of saving it for himself, he swiftly opened it and was eager to share what he had with us. Irakli, at 84 years old, is partially blind and survives extreme conditions during the winter here. As the last doctor, he gets called for emergencies, where he has to travel often during snowstorms on these treacherous roads by horse. He's had this horse for 33 years, and his presence as a doctor allows the few locals to remain safe as they stay and live so far from the rest of the world.
Can I ask you what happened to the rest of the village?
ძალიან სუდად შეიცვალა, იმიტომ რომ ასე თუ გაგრძელდა და ეხლა ვიღაც უნდა შენი სოფლის ტალახიზელვა. შენ ბალღები წავიდნენ, იჟათა ჩამოდენ გაზაფხულობით, მოდიან როცა დღეობები გვაქვს მაშინ.
მეუღლესთან ერთად ჩასვლაზე არ გიფიქრიათ ქვევით და
აბა რო მარტო თავის თავზე არ უნდა იფიქრო, პაპა.
He's saying like you don't have to think only about yourself, you have to think about community. That's why he's staying here. Because he's the only one doctor, and he said like if I go, then what if someone has a problem here?
წეღანას ხოვთქი, რომ ავადმყოფთან წასასვლელს, ავადმყოფიდან მომსვლელი გამოუკიდებლად მეცხენზე ვეღარ შევждები არა, დავიხურა ქულს, იმიტომ რომ ეგრე არაა საქმე.
Wow,
So it's a sense of duty for him staying here actually.
ყველაზე მეტი სირთულე იცი რა არის, რომ ძიმი ავადმყოფთან მიხვალ. გინდა დაეხმარო და ვერ ეხმარები. რამოდენიმე შემთხვევა მქონდა. ბავშვს აი ესე გადაესხიპა ცელით 14 წლის ბავშვს, ხო გესმის რაცა? ხელი და ჰაი არტერიებიდან აფსავდა სისხლი. აშინავდი მივარდი ჩემი ცხენი და კიდე ვიღაც მომეხმარა, მეხმარება უჭერს რომ როგორმე შეაჩეროს აი ასე აფსავს. და კიდევ კარგი რომ არ დააყონა კერტი შამილა ყავს. აი ის მოფრინდა. მოიყვანა თავო დაუთუხა ძაღი ასეთიო და წაიყვანა. აი გა ყველაზე კრიტიკული მომენტის შემდის რომ გინდა რომ მიეხმარო, ხელში გაკვდება თანაც ახალგაზრდა კაცი ბალღი და ვერ ეხმარება.
Yeah, third round, yeah.
შვიდობის იყოს, სიცოცხლის იყოს, სიკეთის იყოს და ყველაფრის გვირგვინს შვიდობას და შვიდობას გამოვაძლევ. ამინ.
Amen. Wow, this was an epic experience. Giving us wine, bread, and great conversations.
აქ იყო ეს არის პირველი თუშეთში
პირველი 1800 სოფლის აშენებული. მე და ჩემმა ცხენმა ვეზიდეთ ეს თქვა და მე და ჩემმა ცხენმა ავაშენეთ ეს გარეთა მოპირკეთებული და აი ეს კიდე. როცა შემოვიდგა რა იცი, გახალასწებული ვარ და ვედრები, რას ვედრები. ოჯახის სიკეთეს ვედრები.
Tell him I'll pray as well for him and the horse and his family.
Thank you.
As the last few moments of daylight were upon us, we drove to the main village here, Omalo, which is the only one with more than 1 or 2 inhabitants left, and that we will therefore claim as the most isolated village in Europe.
We are exploring these towers up here that are absolutely stunning. These were ancient defense towers here to protect the village, as we saw in the first Ushguli village, made basically very difficult to conquer, but even with the limited defense equipment that they had, to try to get to the soldiers up in these towers, throwing rocks, spears, arrows at you would be an impossible challenge. Just hiking up this hill is taking me out of breath. One thing's for sure, that it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
To make the most of our last day here, we drove around to see if we could meet the rest of the locals living in this region.
Thomas,
how are you today, Nana?
Good. Very good. Nice
heart you have here.
Thank you.
Casually getting to know the 7 neighbors here in the area who've been isolated here for like 7-8 months.
Many of the locals here have built kind of guest houses for the 2-3 months that the road is open in the summer. People come here and visit. So many of them are able to create small businesses by hosting visitors coming.
You can literally like just hear the mountains here, right? And she's just sitting here and doing her work. Can I ask you, what is the best part of living here?
საუბედურეთ მეუღლე გარდამეცვალა უკვე 23 წელია, მაგრამ თუშეთი და თუშები არის ალბათ.
How are the Tushetian people, would you say?
კარგი რო არ ყოფილიყო არც გავთხოვდებოდი პირველ რიგში და მეორეც სამვაშს უზდი თუშებს და მაგრამ მოძრავი ხალხია და უკვე ნახევარზე მეტი გასულია უკვე საზღვარგარეთ. აი ვინატრებდი რომ დაბრუნებულიყვნენ. აი ეგ არის ყველაზე ჩემი დიდი ნატურა.
It feels like every time we go and say hi to someone, they love to speak. And it must be because they haven't spoken with people for 7 months. Bye.
She was talking to herself when she was doing this stuff, explaining to herself, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta clear these weeds, I gotta fix this plant. I guess they're so used to being alone that they just start talking just out loud. We are so deep in the mountains right now. Okay.
გამარჯობათ, ელიკო. კარგად, ჩვენ თქვენ როგორ ხართ?
Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
სასიამოვნოა. ჩვენც გვიხარია სტუმარი ძალიან.
How do they survive the winter?
შემოდგომაზე მოვიმარაგებთ მთლიან ზამთრის საკვებს ხოლმე. და მერე ზამთარში კიდე ჩემი შვილები ეს სასაზღვრო რეისები ხო არის?
Her son is a pilot. Time to time, he's sending additional supplies with a helicopter.
That's crazy. That's insane.
ზღაპარია მაგათთვის, ქალაქში მაცხოვრებლებისთვის. ნამდვილად ზღაპარია, მაგრამ ძალიან რთულია. აბა, მთელი 7-8 თვე მოწყვეტილი ხარ. ხალხი არა, მარტო შემიუღლე ვარ ზამთარში. და წარმოიდგინე, როგორია. ტელევიზორი მე და შემიუღლე და საქონელი. всё, ეგ არის. ყოველ დღე ეს და იგივე. ის რთულია ამ ადგილის დატოვება. ეხლა ხო მოხუცდით ჩვენ თან ვეღარ შეგვიძლია და ეს წარმოგიდგენია როგორ უნდა დავტოვოთ. აი მარტო ერთი ოჯახი ვართ ზამთარში. ჩვენც რო წავიდეთ, თლად გაუბედურდება აქავა გაპარტახდება. და არ გვემეტება.
What did you say? He had more hair when he was young.
Oh, same here. We're in the same. We're in the same team. Madlova. Madlova. It's unbelievable that they have stayed there for 47 years and maintained their own life with their own supplies and their own shelter and everything.
Yeah, they're the last ones standing, keeping this village somewhat alive. You know, once you give up on a village like this, it's very hard to rebuild it back to life. We are what is probably the most isolated and remote church in all of Europe. This is incredible. It's incredible. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. This village right here. I can understand why this couple wants to be here and preserve it, but at the same time, it must be very difficult to just be here, the two of you. Hi, bud. Hi, beautiful.
With how in threat of extinction the handful of villages of Tisheti are, we felt immensely lucky to have captured this precious snapshot in time.
Time to go home.
For a while there, we weren't sure if we'd make this second part of the story happen. Was it even worth it week after week of waiting? And well, at a time on YouTube where reaction videos and shorts are the norm, maybe we're a little crazy to commit this deeply to this quest.
Amazing.
Bye bye. Okay. All right. Here we go.
But 30, 40 years from now, having gone the extra mile for the sake of the integrity of the story is something that I know we'll be immensely proud of having done. Giving the people of Tisheti a chance to share their story and exploring a corner of the world very few will get the chance to say that they've seen. A part of me hopes that some of us in the younger generations will see the beauty there is here and reverse what currently seems like the inevitable disappearance of villages like these. But maybe that's just me, holding on to a romanticized view of what life in places like these must be like. Time is inevitable, and it may be a hopeless quest to attempt to resist it. In the meantime, I'm grateful we shared this experience together, and we'll see you next week.